Hey, and good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. Bridgett has the day off. I'm Crystal Moyer filling in, and it is Monday, October 14th, 2024. A lot of students on break today because of a holiday. Some of you may be off today, but we are glad you're joining us this morning. We have a lot to get through, especially the aftermath of Milton. We're still seeing a lot of flooding in some areas. Haven't even seen the worst of it yet. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, many of you waking up and continuing the cleanup efforts. There's some places where you can drop off all of that debris left over after Hurricane Milton. Our reporter Ezzy Castro has the information on that. And also, it is World Menopause Awareness Month. We are going to talk to a nurse practitioner about some of the struggles of menopause and how it may affect women of color differently than others. So we'll have a live interview coming up on that as well. But as always, we want to start with a check of your weather with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos, who has no sleep because she has been on since Hurricane Milton all the time, all day. So we do appreciate your efforts on that. I know a lot of people have reached out to us and thanked you. And of course, our Pinpoint Weather team for your service and your great information. But we've got some good news for maybe some of those folks that are planning to get out and clean up some of that mess.
Yeah, no, I have to thank the managers and stuff like that. They gave me my Friday, my Saturday, my Sunday off. So I was certainly able to kind of wind down a little bit, rest my voice. It was starting to get a little.
You've got two girls. There's no rest for you.
No.
You went back to your other job as a mom.
That is true. That is true. But of course, the village, of course, helps with so much back at home. So I'm super appreciative all around. But I mean, at the end of the day, thank you to anyone who's watching and listening throughout the storm. Thank you for trusting us. That was, it's a relatively scary situation, that many people went through, where some people, it was kind of an inconvenient storm, while others, as you're going to continue to show here on Breakfast with Bridgett, people are still dealing with flooding issues, debris issues, damage. So it's just, for all of Central Florida, thank you for watching us. Thank you for listening to us. And thank you for doing what you needed to do to protect yourself and your family, because that was one of the big things that when we started getting those 27 tornado warnings in a row right off the gate before Milton even closed in on Central Florida, that was when we stopped and we said, I hope everybody did what they needed to do already, because we're done, right? The sheltering place has begun. And so from that point on, you just hope and pray that everyone did what they needed to do. So that's certainly good news that we are now in the clear and conditions are going to be nice. That's certainly one of the pros to storms in October, which, it's really hard to find any positivity, but October storms tend to bring us those cool changes behind it. Tends to kind of really switch that light switch, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, is this fall knocking on the door? Because it was cool.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right now, we're watching just one of two fronts that are coming through. We have one that came through this morning, bringing us some slightly cooler changes. Really, at the end of the day, it's kind of just sucking out all the moisture out of the air. It's that secondary one, Crystal, that we're really going to notice a significant difference behind it. And that's going to come in late tomorrow night and into early Wednesday morning. We're talking mild days, maybe even, dare I say, a few chilly nights in store. I mean, at the end of the day, it's certainly going to be a nice shock to the system, but it's going to be the start of hopefully what will be a cooler season ahead. But it also will be turning breezy late in the week. We do have to really focus on the coastal communities as well. We could have some coastal flooding because of that strong onshore breeze. We also have a supermoon tied in with the breeze, so that could cause some issues along our coasts. But in the meantime, nice dry air all across Central Florida. You can see that dry air encompassing most of the area. But you see just south of Atlanta, there's like kind of a void of the brown and the orange shades. That's that next cold front. It's really not packing a lot of moisture, but once it comes through, it will bring us some cloud cover and then really starting to cool us down. So in the meantime, highs today and tomorrow will be back into those upper 80s, about 87 degrees. But then as we continue into late Tuesday and into early Wednesday morning, here comes that cold front that will dry us out, will continue to dry us out, but really start to cool us down with highs going from those mid 80s today and tomorrow down into the mid 70s on Wednesday. And as of now, it looks like the coolest point of the week will come early Thursday morning. It's always that secondary night that we see that we tend to see the coolest weather. That could drop down our northwestern communities into the mid to low 50s, about 53 in Ocala. Could be into those upper 50s in some neighborhoods in and around the I-4 corridor from Sanford through Kissimmee. A touch warmer, of course, along our beaches. That tends to be the case, but certainly a nice, crisp fall morning. And as we look here, unfortunately, we still have to talk about the tropics. But let me just tell you one thing right now. Don't worry about this, okay? There's been so much chatter. I mean, Milton was even like past the coast, and people were already starting to talk about Nadine because of one post that someone did that went viral. It's constant battling the trolls and the social media issue. I'm just like, can we just first take care of our people first before we start worrying about another storm? So with that being said, this is not the one that was sparking all the chatter on social media about that next area in the Caribbean, which, by the way, was just a copy and paste of a forecast cone from Helene, by the way. But this one is out in the middle of the Atlantic. It has so much working against it. In the meantime, though, it has a 40% chance of potential development. Yes, it looks like it's going to continue its track towards the Northern Caribbean. This is something that will be watched. We here in the weather department will continue to watch it. There's still plenty of time to watch it. A lot of models to either kind of kill it off, some take it out towards the Atlantic, some bring it in, but just kind of a weak tropical wave. So with that being said, this is not the time to start worrying about anything else tropical. Right now, sit back, clean up, do whatever you need to do for your mental health and for your sanity. We're going to be watching those river levels closely as well. The good news is until the rest of the week, we're looking dry. Rain chances very, very minimal. Certainly will be breezy Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe an isolated chance for rain as that front comes through and into the weekend. But overall, just a nice stretch of weather. No stress. Let's kind of cruise through the rest of the week. Be kind, be patient. And of course, if you start seeing cleaning crews or linemen, just show them your appreciation.
Yeah.
Because they're working double time right now.
They are. I mean, I've seen so many complaints on the neighborhood app. I don't have power. What's going on? Why?
Yeah.
And I
understand. I understand
yes,
the frustrations.
But they are out there working hard. Many of them not even from our area, in town to assist with our local linemen to try to get the power back up and running as quickly as they can. So, just give them some grace. I know it stinks, but think about it. It's a little cool outside. So maybe open those windows a little bit, take a breath of that fresh fall air, and just know that soon you will have your power back.
Yeah, it's cool. It's dry. I think the two things that every Central Floridian is asking for. So we're going to deliver that throughout the rest of the week.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Candace.
Anytime. Welcome back. We need to talk about some big time accomplishments that you guys were able to do, but I know it's a jam-packed show. We'll talk about it later.
All right. See you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. So we talked about weather. So let's get over to traffic with Trooper Steve. And let me tell you, he filled in for Bridgett this morning. So he was anchoring. And if you've seen Steve on a Monday, it's usually, Today, Steve, you were on one. We were having a good time. We were cackling over there at the desk. It makes the morning go by a lot quicker when we're having a good time.
Yeah, usually on a Monday, you're not getting the most most polite or engaged.
Not at 5 a.m., but after that, we usually do.
After that, but today, I don't know. It was like, just getting the yard back together, getting the house back together all weekend, finally settling in, and then still not being able to get caught up on some rest, and then coming in and doing this with you today. Come on.
It was me. I gave you the energy.
It's like having an energy drink. You're like an energy drink sitting next to me. So it's just like, all right, let's do it. And we knocked it out this morning. So it was interesting. That was for sure. But it's been a heck of a few days. I love how you said that earlier. We definitely need to at least give a good thank you, even just a wave to our linemen. They're coming in from all over the country. And when you see that, we usually send them everywhere, the panhandle and stuff like that. But to get them here to our central zones and our South Florida area means that, when we do it for them, they're ready to come down here for us. So, of course, we appreciate all our first responders, but definitely the aftermath of the cleanup and, of course, getting the things back up and running. That's what really matters right now.
All right. So obviously today is a holiday for many. So are we expecting to see some construction today? How are the roads looking like?
Construction, for the most part, will be suspended. It was suspended through the week because of the storm. It will be suspended today, and then we'll pick back up tomorrow, kind of some sense of normalcy. So we can go right to the roads right now. This is how you know that we're back. Seeing those eastbound delays out by the attractions this morning. As you get in a little bit closer there, you can see even Old Lake Wilson seeing some delays. Be careful because those lane shifts out there along Osceola Polk line, just because it's a holiday doesn't mean that the road's going to change. So you just need to be careful. No major crashes to start on a Monday, which I will always take. 32 minutes Champions Gate to downtown Orlando, which is a pretty actually good drive time. Pleasant Hill, 1792. Excuse me, I'm trying not to burp right here on live, and I'm trying to breathe properly as Candace looks at me take these breaths. Kind of seeing a little bit of a delay out there. I do have a minor crash out on the east side over at Colonial and St. Nicholas. This is going to be obviously in Christmas with the cross street of St. Nicholas. No lanes blocked, but it's going to be off to the right-hand side. And then westbound I-4 right now, very slow in Lake Mary. We are seeing some heavy delays from about State Road 46 down to Lake Mary Boulevard, with Markham Woods also seeing a little bit of a slowdown, but 417 nice and clear. Our airport drive times, not too bad this morning, depending where you're coming from. The biggest one is going to be your Kissimmee one that is slightly delayed at 29 minutes. Now, Crystal, today, on Friday of last week, we kind of did a little bit of a recap when it came to what people should be doing on the roads. I lost my mind. I can't even be nice about it. I was so frustrated because people were at high speeds running lights that weren't functioning. We're all over the place. And this probably led to about 6 crashes contributed to that on Friday morning. So very nasty stuff. So we got to be careful out there. But today I'm going to be looking at a construction zone over in the Sanford area that one of our producers told me about along State Road 46 within the city limits. A lot of lane shifting going on. Oh, look what just showed up.
Cafecito.
Oh, it's happening. Woo! So that's where I'll be today in Sanford, 10 a.m. clickorlando.com. And I got to tell you something pretty funny. Just something kind of funny. I woke up 20 minutes. An hour past what I was supposed to. This hair is an absolute mess, and yet it still made it here today.
You're still beautiful, Steve.
I'm so glad I got to do the morning show with you, because if not, I do not get all those reads. So it was a good time, Crystal.
Well, I got you. Thank you so much, Steve. And we look forward to seeing Trooper Steve on patrol later on this morning. Take care.
See you, ma'am.
All right, so it's been days after the landfall of Hurricane Milton, and flooding is still an issue. Many communities still underwater, especially those along the St. Johns River. And News 6's Mark Lehman explains the river near Geneva is just now hitting major flood stage. Take a look.
For people living along the St. Johns River, the problems are only beginning, and in some places, they're expected to get worse.
Comparing it to Ian, it looks like a month after Ian. The Whitcomb is not bad. No water really on the road yet. There was water right after the hurricane. It receded a bit.
In Geneva, the river reached major flood stage over the weekend, and only high-rise vehicles are getting in and out of some roads.
It's still high, but it is not at that catastrophic level that we experienced during Hurricane Ian. We are all praying that that's the case.
As all of the rain from Hurricane Milton flows through the St. Johns, the water will keep rising. In Sanford, the river is expected to rise more than a foot by the end of the week. And people living in Astor are seeing levels tying the record set 2 years ago from Hurricane Ian. The river there is expected to remain at major flood stage for several days.
And people think, well, the hurricane's gone, but no, the effects are still there. The folks that live inland by the river are going to start to see more and more flooding, and that's what our concern is.
That was News 6's Mark Lehman. And it's not just the flooding that's been an issue lately. It's all of that debris, the big mess that Milton left behind. You know, Orange County is now opening some new debris drop-off sites. But as News 6's Ezzy Castro shows us, the state is also getting involved to help get things cleaned up quickly.
Cleanup efforts continue in multiple counties after Hurricane Milton last week. And to help speed things up, the governor says he's using state forces to help with county and city debris removal.
We've committed 442 pieces of heavy equipment, 655 FDOT crew members, 4 debris pickup missions throughout the impacted area already. Obviously, we're focusing very heavily on Pinellas County, Manatee, and Sarasota, particularly in those barrier islands, but not limited to that.
DeSantis says FEMA already approved a 100% reimbursement rate for debris collection for 90 days. Typically, the federal government reimburses 75% of debris removal. He says local governments should take advantage of that now.
We have been approved by the president for 100% debris removal reimbursements for 90 days. So we should take advantage of that. That makes it really, really positive to be able to do. But if you wait, if it takes a year, then you're not going to get the bang for the buck.
That was News 6's Zeze Castro. And if you want to get a list of those debris drop-off sites, you could head to clickorlando.com. We've got it all listed there. And also some important information you need to know about collecting that debris and disposing of it. So a lot of us will be cleaning up the mess for days, maybe even weeks, depending on how bad it was in your area. Well, we're going to take a short break, but coming up, we will talk about a difficult subject, menopause. It is Menopause Awareness Month, and we have a nurse practitioner to talk about some of the experiences that her patients have been seeing and feeling. Also, we do have a major recall affecting millions of parents. You'll want to stay tuned to hear about that as well. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back. You are watching Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Crystal Moyer filling in. Bridgett has the day off. We appreciate you joining us, whether it's on News 6 Plus or clickorlando.com. Now we want to talk about a topic that not enough people usually talk about. It doesn't come up in discussion a lot. And we're talking about menopause. It is World Menopause Awareness Month, and we do have a health nurse practitioner, Shireen Richmond. You have a practice over in Lake Mary, and you wanted to bring up this subject because this is something that a lot of women deal with, and some a little younger than we would think.
Absolutely. So there's one guarantee with all women: if you live long enough, you're going to go through menopause. And so, I don't know why we don't talk about it as much as we should, but especially October being Menopause Awareness Month, we are here to talk about this subject because we just need to get the information out there so that women know what's going on.
So tell me about some of the symptoms. You know, I talk to a lot of women, especially my mom, you know, she's going through menopause, and I just hear a lot about like hot flashes. I'm always hot, like, and we laugh about it, but there's some other symptoms as well that can affect, you know, everyday life for women.
Absolutely. So the average age of menopause is 48 to 52 years old, but you can start having symptoms sometimes 7 to 10 years before you actually hit menopause. So, of course, everyone's always heard about the hot flashes, night sweats, but people don't talk about the brain fog, the random joint pain, the gaining weight when you haven't changed anything that you've been doing, like you're eating the same, you're exercising the same, but the weight comes on in different places, sleep disturbances, all those things. And I've read up to 30 different random symptoms, ringing in the ears, all these things that women do not associate with perimenopause and menopause.
Wow. And Shireen, I just wanted to read a couple of facts here. We got some data. About 1.3 million women in the U.S. enter menopause each year, and 1 out of 4 women reports that menopause symptoms negatively impact their career development and work-related opportunities. So you see some patients that come into your office. What kind of experiences are they sharing with you?
So remember, when these things start to happen, this is usually the prime in terms of career for women. They're in their mid 40s or late 30s. They're starting to move up in their career. And so some of these bothersome symptoms, like one that I can really speak to that women complain of quite a bit, is the brain fog. So they need to be sharp. They need to be at the top of their game because they are in these careers and they're moving up. And so getting women the support that they need during this time is game changing for their career path.
And I like how you mentioned support, because we were speaking earlier before the show started, and you said some women will go to some doctors and they just don't feel heard. It's so easy to just throw medication at someone who's feeling depressed or not feeling like themselves. But it's important that they have a practitioner who's actually listening to what they're going through. Tell me a little bit about that.
Exactly. Unfortunately, by the time they do get to me, they've been seen by at least two or three providers where they feel like they haven't been heard, or they've been dismissed, or that's just part of life, get over it. And then they're quick to prescribe a antidepressant. And so I'm not saying that antidepressants aren't needed, but women want to be heard. They want to know what's going on with their body, and they want to be given options. So if antidepressants are what you need, then that's great. But if we want to talk about maybe sleep hygiene, because we know that these changes are going to come, maybe we need to talk about some hormone replacement therapy and all the risks and benefits associated with that, who's eligible for that. They just need the time to be able to understand what's going on, be given the information, and then make a really good informed decision about what they need during this time.
And I like that this month is Menopause Awareness Month, because there is a documentary coming out, and those in Central Florida have a unique opportunity to be a part of a panel that's going on later on this week. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So, Your Will Wellness, we are the only official screening in Central Florida for, it's called the M Factor, Shredding the Silence on Menopause. And this is a documentary that's put out through PBS. And we are hosting a live, like a watch party. And we're going to have some expert panel and discussion after. And so we really are encouraging, this is a free event, because we are really wanting to close that gap of information and give women a place where they can get good information, ask the questions, and maybe the references that they need. So that is going to be this Thursday, October 17th, from 6 to 8:30.
And where's that at again?
It's going to be in Altamont.
Okay.
And on our website, yourwellwellness.com, we will have the event right there for people to sign up. Of course, even if you don't sign up, it's a free event. We just want people to come and get the information.
Important information there. Thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to use this platform to talk about menopause. Health practitioner Shireen Richmond, we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, Crystal.
All right, so we want to talk about a recall that's affecting millions and millions of parents. So listen up. If you've got a child at home, Fisher-Price recalling 2 million baby swings for fears that they could cause infants to suffocate. The recall involves Snugga swings that look like this, sold at major stores like Target, Walmart, Toys R Us, and online at Amazon. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says 5 infants have died between 2012 and 2022 after extra bedding was added to that swing. Parents are being told to immediately remove the headrest and body insert on the seat pad there. Fisher-Price now offering a $25 refund to customers for removing those parts. So very important recall there. If you have friends or family with kids, or maybe you gifted it to somebody, make sure you reach out and let them know there's a recall and they need to remove that extra bedding. And this next story, out of this world of, future of space. As early as this afternoon, NASA launching the largest spacecraft it's ever built for a planetary mission. Amy Kiley explains.
This is going to pave the way for the future.
NASA's biggest planetary mission spacecraft to date is set to explore a potentially habitable place for life beyond Earth. The Europa Clipper is named after its destination, an icy moon of Jupiter.
We scientists have been dreaming about a mission like Europa Clipper for more than 20 years.
Scientists think the moon Europa is one of the best bets in the solar system for sustaining life. Under its surface, they believe it has an ocean, with tides from Jupiter's gravity that produce heat.
Scientists believe Europa has the suitable conditions below its icy surface to support life. Those conditions are water, energy, chemistry, and stability.
NASA says the Europa Clipper carries 9 instruments for testing those conditions, along with a gravity experiment.
Given everything that we've really learned about necessary conditions for life, Clipper is going to tell us if Europa has all of these ingredients for life.
But don't expect that data tomorrow. The journey between Earth and Europa spans about 1.8 billion miles.
It's going to be another 10 years because Jupiter's so far away until we have all the science in the bag.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
1.8 billion miles. That's crazy that we're sending something out there. Incredible that they have discovered this planet. A SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket is set to give it a lift from the Kennedy Space Center afternoon today. It's at 12:06. If it happens, of course, we're going to have it live on News 6 and clickorlando.com, as well as our News 6 Plus app. Right now, it's a 95% go. So we're really excited about that. Excited to see what and more information we're going to get about the Europa Clipper. Really cool. For more information, you can head to clickorlando.com. Of course, if that launch happens, we'll have it live. Thank you so much for joining us for Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Crystal Moyer filling in. Bridgett will be back tomorrow. And again, we appreciate you joining us here on clickorlando.com and News 6 Plus. Have a great day.